Hi guys, so today I have Blake here with me. As you've seen him in my previous videos. So today we are doing an MRE pack, and this one is chili with beans. Yum! And I have my water here. He uses this for work, but I'm using it today. So, can you tell me a little bit about this?
It's MRE, stands for meal ready to eat. It's what we use out in the field, depending on the situation. A lot of times these are usually the only thing you get. You sometimes get hot meals, but the majority of the time you're going to be eating one of these. So, and then you're going to go through and actually heat up the stuff, and normally we don't get time to heat them up properly if we're actually in a true field environment.
Okay, that makes sense. So, how
you feel right here at the top. You should separate the two flaps. There you go. And then both hands. There you go. And you just pull apart. Yep. Normally you would only have on an average of 10 minutes to eat this whole thing, or eat as much as you can. That includes opening it.
I definitely would not have the whole 10 minutes because...
Definitely elbow in the face.
Yeah.
Alright, so the bag is empty. Sometimes they come with other items, so it won't always come in a vacuum sealed bag like this. These last for a very long time, and they last in like insane temperatures. They don't have to be stored in any kind of chilled environment. They can be exposed to high heats for long periods of time and still stay good to eat. All the meat and stuff, if you get one of the ones with meat inside of it, it's pre-cooked, so you don't even have to heat it up to eat it safely. Because most times if you're in like a field environment and you're going to be doing some kind of patrol or whatever, or defending your base, you're not going to have time and luxury of heating your food up. You're just going to have to eat it. So we'll heat it up today.
Okay. So what you're saying is, if there's nuclear war...
You escalated that so quickly. Nuclear warfare is your answer. We're not going to be eating anything if there's a nuclear war. I think I'm just dead out there.
Alright. Okay, so I'm going to open this up now. Do I just rip it open?
Yeah, you just rip the plastic. This is just the casing of it all. So there's usually like a plastic vacuum sealed case holding it all together. Okay. So you have a couple main items. This is your drink pouch, virtually useless, but if you were to take your beverage mix, you'd pour it in here and then mix your water and shake it up. These are quite frankly useless and very hard to drink out of. Usually we just use them to store like notebooks in. I'll actually go get mine and show. But they'll just take and put either their notebooks or their wallets in there, fold it up, nice and neat like, and just put it in your breast pocket. Whatever to protect your paperwork. You can put your wallets, anything important doesn't need to get wet. It kind of helps. That's about the only thing you can use that for. So let me push this aside.
Alright.
Here are the things is, you got your spoon, you got your ingredient list for your main meal, which is this. And then usually the big pack that isn't marked, or usually have like a print on here. It's just chili with beans, very lightly. That's your main meal, you'll keep that together. You have some kind of like chip or snack, pretzels. This one is cheese-filled crackers, cheddar cheese flavored. So usually have something like that. You usually have some kind of bread. This one's cornbread because it's chili, so you have your cornbread. Here is that base beverage powder I was talking about before. Normally we'll just pour these in our canteens off the side. Some people just eat them straight out of the pack just because you're in such a rush. They have a lot of electrolytes in them, so it helps you a lot. You'll either get some kind of peanut butter and jam or jelly, and then either or that or cheese spread. There's a bunch of different flavors. People fight over these a lot. So, and then you have some kind of cracker, and this one's a vegetable cracker. These are probably one of the better ones. I just like the flavor a bit more than the plain Jane crackers. And then you have like condiments, salt, pepper, you have your napkins, you have your towelette, you have a pack of matches, which if you're in basic, usually those get taken away from you. You don't need any arsonist. And then you have usually like a pack of gum. There's rumors that these help you with constipation. There's not really anything factoring behind that. All this, and then you have your heater pack, which just uses water and it actually heats up very quickly. It can cause fires, so you need to be very careful with that. Especially if you're going to just throw it away. They're supposed to be torn open, activated, and then disposed of properly. If you do use these, you're not supposed to just throw them away sealed, because they can start fires if they ever get wet. So you'll figure out how quickly it gets hot in a second. I'm going to show you. It has instructions on it, but to each their own. I have my own way of cooking with these, and so do other soldiers. It's just your personal preference, whatever you feel like gets it done the quickest. If I usually have time, I'll try to heat up my meal, but the majority of the time we don't really have enough time to heat up our meal properly. So we're going to start by heating up your main course, which is the chili with beans, which is actually kind of spicy. Most people enjoy this one, so it actually tastes like chili. A lot of people don't like MREs. I personally enjoy them. It's better than the hot A's we usually get. Those usually, it's not the best food in the world when they drive out and actually cook for us there, or just drive them out in containers. Once you open it, there's two little slits on the side. Just depends on the mill that you have. There's a bunch of different variations, but this one got two little slits, make it easy to tear it across the top. You're going to usually just slide it inside of here, and that protects you from the heat. This is my way of doing it. There's another instruction of how to do it. So we're gonna do it verbatim of what this tells you to do, which is to rip open the top. Don't tear it down here, tear it up here if you're going to use these. A lot of people make the mistakes of tearing it down here and then they can't close it properly when it goes to heat up. So you just make a quick tear across the top where the little flap is. You just kind of pull on it and it should just rip straight across. Try not to go too low with it, and it just comes off very easily. So you can just kind of open it up some. Normally I don't put it inside here like the bag says so, because then if I do, because of the moisture in the water, the meal itself gets really hot and wet, and then that can cause a lot of problems, especially if you're trying to eat it quickly and it's burning you. It doesn't really like help you in those factors. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and pour the water in here, shake it up. So you shake it very briefly, it will activate this little white packet that's inside of it. And then it activates these little beads, which react with the water to create heat. It takes a little bit of water. Does not take much at all. There's a little do not fill over line, and you just have to fill it up below that line, and you're good to go. You don't even need that much water. So once we get it put in here, normally the MRE packet wants you to put the meal inside. We're not going to do that. We're going to actually pull it through the side, the back of it, and then you need to find like an angle or something, put it up on a rock, your boot if you have it, just on the side out of the way, so that you can heat it up while you're eating the rest of your meal, and then you can come back and eat this at the very end, or whenever you want to. Normally I just eat them cold again, so I'll start with the main meal and then finish up with the other ones. So we're going to pour a little bit of water in here, so just a little bit of water, it doesn't take very much at all. And that little bit of pour actually overfilled it. I actually overfilled it. It's about up here. It's supposed to be down here. So you close it. That's the reason why if you clip it up here, you want better to close it properly. You fold it. I usually fold it once or twice. Start shaking it up. You don't want the water to come out the top. So it's usually best to fold it twice down. Shake it up. And then it's going to immediately start activating. It gets warm pretty quickly. So you'll feel that in a second. You might want to watch out. So usually I will try to pour it through the bag, the box itself, and push it through with the main meal. You want that packet to get nice and evenly on your main meal. Try to keep the top partly closed, but you want to let some air out, so a little bit of hole will help. And you can already feel the backside right there. It gets really hot really quick.
Oh yeah, it's hot.
So and you can see like steam start to build up right here very quickly. It gets hot to the touch, so be careful, these will burn you. And then once you get started, this is another reason why I like to have the meals, because I can hold the bottom of it. The top is almost unbearable I don't know if you can see the steam. You can see the steam coming out that little hole that I have pushed to the side. That's just to like let the air pressure out. You don't want it to build up and pop. It'll definitely scare some people around you if you're not careful. Yeah, you normally just set this to the side, let it cook. And that's the reason why I can always grab this from this side. It's gonna heat up this side of the meal. It's gonna be like a lukewarm meal. It's gonna be like fresh hot off the plate. Unless you put it inside the bag, that creates other issues. So we'll set this to the side real quick. It doesn't take long for that to cook the meal all the way through. I'll let you start with the cheese-filled crackers first.
All right.
Here's your water. I'm not gonna drink it.
Okay, so this is what the cheese-filled crackers look like. They smell like they look pretty good.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know though.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't have cheese. So that usually negates a lot of the meals for me. I usually have to go after the vegetarian ones to actually get the vegan ones. So they do offer vegan and vegetarian MREs for those of you thinking about joining the military and not unsure if you will actually survive. They do allow you to stay with your beliefs. You don't have to change for them. They will provide you with vegan and or vegetarian meals.
Okay, so it's actually pretty good. The bread is kind of stale though.
Yeah,
Tastes like.
Everything's stale usually. I'm sure the majority of these, it's just pure nutrition. The bag suggests that, especially if you're in a hurry to eat these, to at least take a bite of everything. That way you get a well-balanced meal for the most part. These do have a crap ton of calories in them, but usually it's made for a soldier who has a higher nutrition intake than the average person. So you'll want to take more water, more nutrition throughout your military career. So, but you'll be more physically active also.
Okay.
So you done with that?
Yep.
All right, so you have your cheese spread. People usually just eat these out of the pack, especially in a hurry. They just cut a little slit in the top. That's an arrow guiding you how to tear it. You usually just tear a little portion and then you squeeze from the bottom and you pull up, and that's how you eat it. It tells you to knead it. So you just take and squish it along, you knead the package. There was once a joke about how there's only, what are the two things you need in the MRE pack? And there was a board question Sergeant Major asked one time, and no one could really figure it out. And at the end of it, he was like, there's only two things you need in an MRE pack, and that's peanut butter and cheese. And it's because you need it quite literally, as the other word means. Instead of needing it like necessity, you need it and squish it around and make it softer. People will also take this and put it with their meal pack and heat it up and melt the cheese down. It helps it a lot easier. They usually put it on their crackers or their bread, whichever one comes with it. This one came with cornbread, so that's kind of like an oddity, but because it's chili, it has cornbread. You also have your veggie crackers, which you can put your cheese on. You can just eat it straight out of the package. Let me try a little bit of both.
Yeah. All right. I believe that's pretty good. All right. So just.
I would squeeze down away from the corner to try to like get as much away, because you want to open it up, you don't want it spilling out. So you just like push it away, and then from right here, just squeeze together and tear it out. Once you do that. Don't get it in your face.
I'm trying not to.
There you go.
I'm very weak.
Okay. You can try it. I would not smell those exactly. I probably don't smell like those. How's it taste?
Oh, it tastes sour.
Yeah, it just depends. Some people like the cheese. Most people like the jalapeno cheese better. It's a little bit more spicy. And here's your vegetable crackers.
All right.
Should definitely mix those two together. Melting it helps the flavor a little bit, so.
I was gonna say this is a thick cracker, but there's two in here.
Yep, they usually break down to 4. It's very rare to find them and them not be crumbled up, because people are rough with these boxes, especially in like a high intensity environment. They don't really care about being gentle with these. They'll get air dropped in. So normally like weak things like these crackers will crumble. So it's very rare to actually find them intact like this.
Okay, I'm gonna put some of this cheese on there. Can you hold it for me?
the crackers are normally very dry. So, with the combination flavor work.
No.
That's why you use the water.
I'm trying to get it off my feet.
Well, use the water to rinse your mouth. I don't understand. Yeah, you may, and they crumble a lot if you like really look on the table right now. It's like there's little pieces of crackers everywhere. So don't eat these where you're going to sleep. Usually you don't eat or use the bathroom where you're going to be laying down in the field. Especially when we create our fobs and stuff of that nature. You'll eat a little bit further back because you'll create mess and then you'll get bugs and stuff attracted to the area. You don't want to sleep where you're going to have food laying around. So, and especially if you're eating inside a tent, like I'm a signalist, and majority of my field time I'm actually spending in a tent. So we usually try to eat away from our equipment. So those two things. This is the cornbread. I'll let you try that.
Hopefully cornbread's better because I love cornbread.
Yeah, people seem to enjoy the cornbread. Why'd you tear it? Okay, you tore it right. Okay, I thought you were tearing it from the top. Yeah, there you go. Oh, you're about to rip the bread, so tear a little bit higher. I'll just stop right there. And then really keep right up. Yeah, that's fine. You kind of tore a little bit too low. There you go. It's kind of crumbled up. There you go. It crumbled up. There you go.
Very soft. So.
It's good.
Yeah, this cornbread is pretty good.
It's very crumbling. It falls apart very easily, just like the crackers. It creates quite a mess. Okay. And then you have your base orange powder. It has a lot of electrolytes in it. It's basically Gatorade, but like an off-brand. That's what I compare it to. It's very watered down depending on how much water you use. So unless you shake it up a lot, whenever you pour it into a bottle of water. So you have your orange powder. You just create some room for it. Let's see. I tear across right here. It has a little lip for you to tear across. Some people just straight up eat these out of the bag, especially if you're in basic training and you're looking for something sweet because you're not going to be allowed any sugar. Because you're not going to be allowed any sugar, you're going to be, basic training, going to be desperate for some kind of sugar outtake, and usually it's just powder. People will just straight up down it and then take a swig of water. It's a little bit sour if you do it like that, basically like a sour powdered candy. So you do that. But just to show you how it reacts with water, I'm going to pour it inside this water bottle, and about that much. Create kind of like a funnel, very gently. Put the powder there into it. As you can see, it clumps very easily. It takes a little bit of force to get mixed together. I went through, and other people went through in basic when they were actually trying to just get some kind of like taste of sweetness. As you can see, it clumps together very much. It's not like your average mixed powder for water. It clumps very easily, so you have to shake it kind of aggressively.
So while you shake that, I'm gonna do this.
All right, so she's gonna try just the powder. Like we definitely need to drink water with it. But once you go a couple months without sugar, it makes you really desperate to try anything to spice it up because it gets very bland very quickly.
It is very sour.
Mm-hmm. It's like a sour candy powder.
Good though.
So normally if you don't have a water bottle, put it in your canteen, but the bad thing about putting this powder in your canteen, it makes it smell. It makes it very hard to clean these canteens. We use them constantly, so it's bad if bacteria builds up, especially sugar will attract a lot of bacteria. So it's better not to pour it inside that water, inside your canteen. That's where this comes into play. If you were to use this, you pour it up to water. It tells you how much it has ounces, how much water it's going to hold. So if you wanted to use this water in the field, I'd say use this baggie if you didn't have any kind of any type of water bottle to use. Because if you use these canteens, they're hard to clean. So I'd advise against it strongly. I'll let you try. It looks like all the powder's kind of dissipated. So you get to try the orange drink. It's basically like a watered down Gatorade in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, watered down Gatorade, kind of like a Pedialyte.
Very tangy orange. There's a bunch of different flavors. We just got orange in this pack. So it changes per year that they come out with MREs, depending. And then finally you have your little condiments and matches and whatnot. I'll let you open those and show those off. And normally you would have eaten your meal by now. We've just kind of been going through these and the meal's still kind of cooking. So, but you have your matches, very simply. These are wet light matches, so they can get wet and they'll still light, but they won't light while they're wet. Very simple how you use them. You fold it over backwards, pull it through, and then lights a lit inside. Lights, stays lit. Gotta be careful because these other ones actually light up. Be careful if you get these around the other ones, they light up very quickly. Of course, like all matches do. Normally if you're in basic or any kind of a training environment, they'll take these away from you. So prepare for that. You don't get to keep these, and don't try to sneak them or hide them. It can create quite the problem. Be careful with these, definitely. This is your instant coffee. People make like Ranger dips with these just to get some kind of adrenaline rush / caffeine high, maybe close to like a nicotine high. They'll just take this and put it in their lip. They'll mix it with some other things, sugar, because these come with a sugar package too, and make Ranger dips. You get your napkins. They are very cheap napkins. They don't really help with much. In basic training, I'd keep like a couple of these in your pocket and a wet baggie. These come in lifesavers. If you need them in the field, definitely. You never know when you're going to need some napkins inside. This is your creamer. It goes in your coffee. Most of the time you're not allowed to have coffee and training in the environments. Sugar, same thing. People will do these like the orange beverage powder. They'll just straight up shotgun these down their mouth just to get that kind of little bit of sugar, sweetness, taste out. Or you can mix it with both these together. It doesn't make a bad coffee. So it's pretty good overall. You'll see, especially if you're going to basic training, you'll see some desperate attempts to make different meals and things, life more entertaining than what it is. Then you have your salt to add to your meal if you need salt. There's quite a bit in here. You get your moist towelette to clean up with at the end. It helps with getting face paint off. And then you have your 2 pieces of gum. They're usually like cinnamon kind of flavored. And these help with cleaning your teeth, especially if you don't have time to brush your teeth in the field. Usually gets that gunk out really quickly after a meal. And then we'll move on to the main course, which it's pretty much cooled down. It's still a little warm, even though it's been sitting here for about, I'd say about 20 minutes or so while we went through this video. And then you got the rest of this that you just throw to the side. If you're ever curious about what are in these, the meal package actually states like all of these in case you have allergies and whatnot. So make sure to bring that up in attention, that if you are allergic to something in the meal, don't eat it. And then you have the meal itself, which is, I'd always squeeze it down away from these upper tabs when you go to open it. And then you have your spoon. Here you go, I'll let you open this.
It is pretty warm.
Yep. And it's been sitting for a hot minute too. Normally you would eat this within 10 minutes, the whole meal, if you're in an environment of that nature. Get a pretty good tear on that one. Yeah, a tear from this side. There you go. Put that aside, you don't want to make too much of a mess. I'll show them.
Alright, now let's test this.
They're not that bad. A lot of people make comments about MREs being disgusting or looking disgusting. Usually they're actually pretty good meals. It's not like the World War II/Vietnam era where you just had meals delivered into you in cans. They do have a crap ton of preservatives in them. They're not healthy for you at all in no aspect of light. They will carry a crap ton of calories with them. Spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite spicy. I like it personally. The cornbread helps a lot whenever you're done with it. So, people will either crumble it up and put it in their chili. It's just your preference of how you're going to eat your meals. So, cornbread as a whole. Make sure if you're in a hurry, don't eat the packet. People get in a rush and they'll shove things down. It creates quite a mess. It creates, between the bread and the crackers and everything, creates quite the mess. So make sure they're not getting all over yourself in your uniform. It's very easy to make these messes.
So I think it's pretty good.
Pretty good. Spicy for you?
Yeah, spicy for me, but pretty good.
So, yeah, and people get like really creative with how they like mix these things together, especially since you have such a time crunch. People will melt like the cheese. They'll just throw it, the cornbread, the cheese, the chili all together, crush up the crackers, and just make one giant meal and eat it all at once. So, just your breakfast. You're gonna eat the rest of it. You're done. It's so good. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Especially when it is warmed up. Oh. Heck yeah.
Okay, so how many MREs do you normally get when you're out in the field?
Depending on the environment that we're in. My situation, we usually get 3 a day if we're not going to be allowed hot days, so you get 3 meals a day on average. We just went through a pre-ranger course, introduction course, so for 3 days we went out to the field and we went to go practice our battle drills and stuff here in Fort Campbell. It kind of gave us an introduction of like what it is to be a ranger. And those guys, they get 2 MREs a day. They field strip them completely, so you get the bare minimums of what you need. And you get about 4 to 5 minutes to eat. That's more of the more intense training environments I've been in. The average field, you're going to get about 1 to 2 of these a day, and then you're usually going to get some kind of hot meal allotted in between that time period if your command is good and they actually go out and do what they're supposed to. So, yeah. In basic training, you're going to get about 10 minutes to eat. That includes opening the package, ripping into it, and getting it all out. I would not recommend heating it up. I just recommend eating it cold. When you get to a more chilled area, like your actual first duty station or whatever, and you go out to the field, you're usually going to have more time to eat. It'll be more relaxed, especially for the environment that I'm in. I usually get about 30 to 40 minutes to eat, a smoke break, or whatever the guys need, so you have time to actually heat these up and enjoy them. For the most part, you can kind of get creative with how you cook. People will start doing like Willing and Dylan and trading, like some of these come with candies. Like the other MRE we're going to try. I believe it actually has a pack of Skittles or Reese Pieces in it. So those people will like try to trade money for those, and it's crazy how hectic it gets. You get more time to enjoy these actually. Overall, what did you think? Your first impressions of eating MRE for the first time?
It was a lot better than what I thought it was going to be.
My average is pretty good. Depends on what you get. There's 2 that usually you want to try to avoid. I can't remember the name of one of them. I know that one of them, like the gravy sausage one, is absolutely disgusting. There's another one that's the fettuccine one. Creamy fettuccine, I think is what it's called. Absolutely disgusting. Don't ever go near one of those. The main courses, where you get the majority of your nutrients, is what's going to fill you up. And if you don't eat it, then you're just kind of wasting eating the meal. So avoid those if you can. When it comes to basic training and stuff of that nature, you're not going to get to choose what MRE you get. You're just going to be walking by. You're not going to be able to, and quote unquote, rat fuck the MRE box. That means just you pick and choose. You flip it over and be like, oh, I want this one. In most environments, you're not going to be able to do that. It's just walk and grab, walk and grab. You don't even see what you get. Normally, you don't know what even MRE you got till you go to pick it out and eat it later, because you just shove it in your bag and you go. Especially in high-paced environments like basic training or in the field. So, yeah, I think that concludes your video.
Yep. So, guys, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you next time.